Hi everyone, it's Peg with just another quick tutorial on how I use gelatos. Gelatos are this tube of almost like lipstick type material. It comes it comes in these clear packages. Originally it came in a package like this and you couldn't really tell how much was left in your tube, but now it's in a clear package, so when you screw it up you know exactly how much you have left of the product within the tube, which I think is a pretty cool innovation. Now, one of the things that I had done, I had shown you these. These were showing you how to make different backgrounds using gelatos, and I was showing you the differences between those that have the pearlescence and those that have the flat finish. And there is another video out there in my how-tos. If you're interested in viewing that, take a quick peek and you can see how I did that. However, one of the things that I found was I wanted to use some sparkle embossing powder. Season is on us. We need to start getting into the sparkle. So I tried it using this iridescent sparkle, and part of the problem that I found, if you look right here, is that the gelatos were clinging to the area that had the glitter in the embossing powder, and I didn't like that. So I thought, well, how do you get around doing that? Well, let me show you. What I do first is I'll go ahead and create a background, and this is kind of Tim Holtz style, you know, scribble it on your craft sheet. And we've all done this with our ink pads. Well, maybe not everybody, but most of us have done this using ink pads and dye inks and maybe even alcohol ink. It just is one way of transferring that. I'm going to spritz this with water, not too much, because I still want that vibrant color that's down there on the craft mat. And then I'm just going to swish through and pick up the colors on here. Okay. And you don't have to go all the way to the edges. This is really pretty just as it is. So I'm going to leave that. And I'm going to clean up my mat. And you can set that aside to dry, or you can use your heat tool and dry it and come up with your surface that has this on it, which looks kind of watercolory. Now I used the shimmer one, so you can see that it's got a pearlized background to it, which I think is just gorgeous. But then I also wanted to use this iridescent sparkle embossing powder from Judikins. So in order to do that, now that I have my background created, and you know, your paper, once it's wet, is going to curl. Don't worry about that. If you use some good suquang or some other kind of tape to put it down with, it's not going to continue to curl like that. And you can, you know, put it under some weight overnight. Now, when you're doing this, you want to pick something that's kind of like an all-over image that's pretty solid, like these. You want something that's going to stand out because you're putting embossing powder on. What I decided to do is, because I'm in a holiday season mood today, is I'm going to use several of these different snowflakes and emboss those. So I have my Versamark. You can use any kind of embossing ink. It doesn't matter. We're just putting some images down on the paper. And I probably should have, do as I say, not as I do, should have something underneath. Even though these are mounted stamps, what I mean by mounted is it has the foam in between. I think you get a better impression if you have foam underneath when you're stamping. So I'm going to put this down. I can always add more to it. I'm not sure where I've stamped and where I haven't just right now. So I should probably put some embossing powder on here and see where I need to go from here. So here's my iridescent sparkle. just really pretty snowflakey embossing powder. And I'm going to get that on there. And yeah, I can see them. Might have been better with a little bolder image, but we're going to go with this. And like I said, you can always add more later. Shake my excess back into my tray. And now I'm going to heat set this. So pardon me while I make a little noise. Okay, can you see the shimmer on there? Can you see the snowflake? Sorry, it's hard because it's glittery and cameras don't always pick that up real well. There, maybe that one shows a little bit better. So you get that iridescent snowflake on there. And so, you know, when you're creating your card, you can just put that on a nice shimmery background. You can add some kind of Christmas greeting to it, and you have a real quick, simple Christmas card. Now, one of the other things that I wanted to show you is as I was playing with this piece, because, you know, now I've got a piece to experiment with, I had stamped this image from Hero Arts on here after I had done the initial embossing and had embossed it with a gold pearl. Can you see this? Okay. Then I decided, well, okay, I want to see what it's like to color on top of this. So I started with, this is the old version of the gold. And this is this leaf right here. And you can see that it comes out almost a brown compared to that pretty pearly, shimmery gold. But this gold right here, I did with the champagne, which is one of the new pearlized colors. And you can see that that turned out really pretty on there. It has the same kind of shimmer and sparkle and gives another dimension to that particular image. So, you know, if I were to mount this on something glittery and add some ribbon and some, you know, some kind of sentiment, you got a real pretty card. Now, the thing to remember is that if you've got any kind of glitter in your embossing powder, you probably don't want to put the gelato over the top. And that was my point of making this film for you. But experiment on your own. Be sure and tell me about your experiment. Let me know how things went for you and what you liked and what you didn't like about this. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, like, share with your friends, and I'll see you again next time. Bye.